Awesome. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys. Hey there. Happy Friday. Hope you're all doing great today. Thanks for joining me here at Ironwood and for offering such great support for the studio and the teachers here. I want to remind everybody, if you haven't checked out the workshop announcement that Leah's posted on the website or on social media, Brady's workshop called the Fundamental 5 is August 1st. It's from 2 to 4, and it's an online class with him. He'll be here in the studio doing it. So be sure to check it out, the Fundamental 5. I'm super curious about what they are. I want to know what those Fundamental 5 are. So, all right, Brady, I'll have to be checking out your workshop too. So we'll start in a seated position today. It's Friday, so we'll start with some pranayama. We'll just start in a seated position and check in for a moment. Go ahead and close the eyes. Bring the awareness to where the weight of the body meets the floor. And start actively pushing the floor. And the more you push down through whatever part of the body is touching the floor, you are going to notice that you naturally sit up taller. Requires very little effort. Begin to notice how the body moves as you breathe. And you want to start taking that breath into the sides of the rib cage so that you are kind of drawing air in using the whole body. Allow the ribs to expand out to the side and let the diaphragm move down into the belly. And we're going to take a few breaths like this just to check in with this incredible shape-shifting quality of the torso with each breath before we get into Kapalabhati today. All right. So as you inhale, let the ribs expand. Let the belly be soft. As you exhale, start to push out the air with the diaphragm and draw the ribs in. So you start to have a more active exhale here. And if you spent just a few minutes every day, yogis, in a seated position, observing the breath, just checking in with how the body moves as you breathe, with no checklist of right or wrong. Just a few minutes every day will start to shift and develop a meditation practice that is organic. And the longer if you do this a couple minutes every day, the longer you will find yourself sitting in it naturally without trying. And that's just the meditative quality of observing the breath. So we're going to work on Kapalabhati this morning. So we've been doing this every Friday, and we do we'll do 3 rounds of 50. And if you already have your own practice and you are, feeling really comfortable with this, go for it. You don't have to stay with the speed that I'm doing it. I do start out slower on the first round because of the coordination aspect involved. As you exhale, rather than when we inhale and the chest lifts up, when you inhale. Now we want it to kind of pop up a little bit when we exhale because of the force of the diaphragm pushing that air up and out. All right, so that's what I've found working with tons of students. That's the tricky part, is that exhale, so that chest lifts up a little bit, and then it's not an active inhale. You just let the belly be soft, let the air fall back in. So doing it slower in the beginning is going to help you connect with the movement and connect with that horizontal movement of the diaphragm, this vertical muscle that moves horizontally as we breathe. So this is really great strengthening for the core, for the diaphragm, for your lungs, for your nasal passages, producing your own natural nitrous oxide in the nasal passages, and keeping your respiratory immune system super strong. And that's what we want right now. So go ahead and take a couple of natural breaths. One thing I do suggest is to keep your hand just right here, the base of the rib cage here where the diaphragm is, and you can kind of start to push that hand in and up a little bit. That's going to help you connect with the movement of the diaphragm. All right. So go ahead and close the eyes, take a couple of natural breaths. And then we'll begin on the next inhale, about halfway or 3/4 of the way of an inhale, and then begin. And relax. And you start to feel that belly wake up a little bit. All right. So we'll take a couple of natural breaths before we get into the second round. And really concentrate on that chest popping up a little bit. It doesn't have to be like an artificial lifting, just a little bit of a lift so you connect and create that coordination. I think I gave you guys homework of this action, right? Did anybody practice this? Anyway, that develops a similar type of coordination, so that's also a good practice to do. So let's go ahead and get into our second round. You can go faster if you like, or stay with a slow pace. And take about a 3/4 of a breath, inhale, and we'll begin. And release. And then we'll get into that third round. If you want to go a little bit faster, go for it. Take that breath in, and then we'll begin. Go ahead and release. Nice work, yoga. So I'd love it if you practice this every day. If you have questions about it, just email me, takeavinyasa@gmail.com. Email me if you have any questions or if you want some real specific help. If you're having trouble with lifting the chest up as you exhale, I get it. It's tricky. So just email me and I'll help you out, okay? No worries. So let's go ahead and come into child's pose. I want to make sure today that you have a strap with you. We're going to be working on some stuff with that. So make sure you have one nearby, and we always want a wall anyway. So we'll meet up in child's pose. And come back to that awareness of the breath here. We'll start to lengthen both sides of the breath and create that space on either side. So that space between each side of the breath, that is when we do the majority of the movement. And then the breath supports the movement. Rather than insisting that it initiate movement, we want it to support the movement. Reach out through the fingertips, start to walk the hands over to the right side. That same quality of breath here. So one side is lengthened, one side is compressed, and breathe into both sides of the rib cage evenly. Walk the hands back to center and on over to the other side. And then go ahead and walk the hands back to center, yogis. Keep the hands shoulder width apart. We'll start by pushing down through the shins here just to get that downward current moving. And that's what's going to pop that torso up. Push and lean out past the wrists a little bit and then sink the hips back to the heels. So don't even worry about the breath yet. Let's figure out the body parts. Push and then sink the hips. Push and lean and bring the gaze forward. And then tuck the chin a little bit and exhale into child's pose. Push and lean and inhale now. And sink the hips and exhale. Push and inhale. And exhale now. Push and inhale, bring the gaze forward. And this time bring the chin and chest down and exhale. Pull forward onto the belly and inhale now. Squeeze the elbows together behind you. And then sink the hips and exhale. So there's that nice long space when you move before you inhale and exhale. All right, this starts to send that message to the nervous system that everything you're doing is a-okay. All right, inhale, exhale. Inhale, this time lift the thighs and reach, and then lift the hips and exhale now. So you can walk in place a little bit, move the hips side to side, yogis, move around in whatever way is natural for you or habitual. Just kind of check it out. Take one leg up behind you at a time.
Some people like to roll the hip up and do this. I don't care for it, but I trust that you like it, so I want you to do it. And then walk the hands back to meet the feet. Keep the feet hip width apart here and cross the arms so you can grab opposite elbows. Let the neck relax and let the belly rest on the thighs. You can bend the knees here if you like. And just take a few breaths. Okay, yogis, go ahead and plant the hands shoulder width apart, lift high up onto the toes, really scoop that belly, get the knees all the way up into the armpits. You can lean forward, bring the gaze forward, come right into Bakasana here, or just stay on the toes, but bring that gaze forward. And then bring the feet back down if you're in crow pose, and walk the hands toward the front of the mat. Nice work, yogis. Step the feet up to meet the hands. You can bring the toes together and get some space between the heels. Keep the feet hip width apart if that gives you more stability. That's all that really matters. And then begin to push down through the feet so that you roll on up to standing one vertebra at a time. The more you learn how to push down, the more you can just kind of wonder how you got somewhere. How did I get here? Start pushing down through the feet. Yogis, lift the toes, set them down naturally. A little bit of internal spin on the legs, and then start to push the shins away from each other. You will notice that that gives you an instant sense of ground. Start to draw energy up, lift the arches, lift the kneecaps. Start to draw up and lift the thighs and lift up through the inner thighs. All this pushing and lifting is going to naturally lift the pelvic floor over time. Maybe not today, but one day. Lift up out of the pelvis, lift the heart center, take the shoulders down and back, yogis, and press the palms together actively so that you integrate the shoulder girdle. That's going to create space in the armpit area. And Surya Namaskar A, inhale, reach up overhead. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen, bring the gaze forward, and then step or hop back to Chaturanga Dandasana or onto the belly for measuring where your hands are. Inhale, up dog, and exhale, down dog. So in this down dog, take the heel. There's this mosquito, I'm sorry, right in my face every time I'm in down dog. So take the heels apart slightly. Yogis, lift the pelvic floor and reach through the sit bones. Get out of here. And same breath here. On that next inhale, float the feet up or hop the feet up. Land softly, finish that inhale here. Exhale, use the belly to pull the torso in closer to the legs. Bring the gaze forward so that you can push and inhale, come up effortlessly, and exhale. Inhale, push through the feet.
Exhale, draw the low belly in and up. Inhale, lengthen. Keep the gaze forward. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, reach through the heart center.
And exhale, push the hips back. Mula Bandha is just like if you are pushing through the feet and lifting the arches. Mula Bandha here, you're going to lift the pelvic floor and reach through the sit bones. It's the same action. On the next inhale, yogis, lift the hips nice and high. Float the feet up, land softly. Finish that inhale. Exhale, Uttanasana.
Push and inhale back up to vertical. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep the front of the body long. Inhale, lengthen. Keep the gaze forward and exhale. Inhale, up dog.
Exhale, down dog. Inhale, yogis, float the feet up, land softly, finish that inhale. Exhale, Uttanasana.
Push and inhale, come on back up to vertical. And exhale. Surya Namaskar B, sink the hips, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right foot forward. Push and inhale, warrior one. Plant the hands, step back. And exhale. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lift and left foot forward. Push and inhale. Plant the hands. Exhale now. Inhale, reach.
Exhale, lift. Same breath. And lift the hips nice and high, float the feet up, yogis. Inhale. Exhale, Uttanasana.
Sink the hips and inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Tadasana. Good. Two more, yogis. Sink the hips, inhale. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, right foot forward. Push and inhale the torso up, warrior one. Plant the hands, step back and exhale. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lift and left foot forward. Bring the gaze forward, push and inhale, warrior one. Plant the hands, step back and exhale now. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Reach through the sit bones like you want to leave an imprint of your buns in the wall behind you. Bring the gaze forward, lift the hips, float the feet up, inhale, exhale. Sink the hips, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, down dog, right foot forward. Bring the gaze forward. Inhale, top of the inhale when the fingertips touch. Plant the hands, step back. Exhale. So there's no rush to get out of Chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale, down dog, left foot forward, yogis. Bring the gaze forward, push. Wonder how you got here. Plant the hands. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Nice work, yogis. Float the feet up. Inhale. Exhale. Use the belly more. Sink the hips. Inhale. And exhale. We'll take a couple of breaths here on Tadasana. Check in with the effects of your sun salutations practice. It's a ritual of opening and closing the body. Aligning those 7 sacred chambers. And hop the feet hip width apart. Exhale, bring the hands to the waist. Squeeze the elbows together behind you, yogis. Lift and inhale. Resist the temptation to shove your hips forward. Lift up out of the pelvis, squeeze the elbows. And then exhale, dive forward, grab both big toes. Take another deep inhale, Padangusthasana. Keep the shoulders up and away from the ears. So if all you are doing is stretching the backside of the body, pull more, lift the shoulders up more, and use the belly more. Resist with the toes. And breathe. That same breath. Pull more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, slide the hands under the feet all the way up to the wrists. And bend the knees here as much as you need to. Take a nice deep inhale, lengthen, and exhale. By need to, I mean in order to keep the front of the body long.
So you can lift the heels up, maybe one at a time here, or play around with lifting both heels up. Keep the shoulders up and away from the ears. The heels are lifted, go ahead and bring them down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands shoulder width apart. Lift up onto the toes. Keep the gaze forward, yogis. Bakasana. Pull the thighs together. Pull the feet up to your buns.
And exhale, take a vinyasa. You can just step back to down dog or step back to chaturanga or jump back, up to you. All right, and then from your down dog, go ahead and hop forward. We're gonna come right back into Bakasana. So we're gonna work on Ekapada Bakasana B today, but let's do crow pose a couple more times. So I really want you to focus when you're in it on pulling those thighs together. You guys should be sick of me saying this, but even when I think it all the time, it still benefits me because you can always pull into your center more. So go ahead and take a vinyasa. And then jump right back into Bakasana. And so you want to think as we're moving through our asana practice, we're expanding physically throughout the practice without trying and without stretching. This is what happens when we're involving all of these currents. But then, so we expand physically, but you always want to be drawing into your center energetically. All right? And keep the gaze forward. And exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Never ever look back. All right. All right, so we're going to work on Ekapada Bakasana B. This is, you don't need flexible hamstrings for this. You just want to drop your buns down a little bit more and take one leg out in front. All right, so looks something like this. Let's see if I can pull this off today. You're going to take one leg out in front and kind of scoop that belly. You could drop your butt down more than I'm doing and bring the gaze forward. All right, even if this knee is a little bit bent, still keep everything active and squeeze those thighs together. All right, so Mula Bandha. Like when a yoga teacher doesn't know what else to say. Hold on here. And then let's go ahead and work on that on the other side. You can lift back up in. Out of it and do it on the other side. I'm going to take that left leg out in front. So this is cool because you can bend the elbows a little bit more, you can sink the hips more, and this is a nice option because crow, my emphasis is always to lift up away from the floor. What? It's on? And anyway, what was I saying? Sorry. I think it's green light. Okay. All right, so let's do that again. You can take a vinyasa if you like, and then we're going to do that again. And this is kind of a fun one to start maybe practicing jumping into. If you're jumping forward and coming right into crow, start jumping and coming right into this as well. So kind of take that leg out to the side. All right. If that seems outrageous for me to suggest it, then let me know, and then we'll just keep working on it, and then it'll seem like, oh, this again. You guys are awesome. All right, get into it on the other side. So that left leg is out in front. You can take a vinyasa in between or just switch sides. And if this is horrible, and it can be for whatever reason, if this leg isn't going to feel straight enough for you and you think you can't do it, even just having the leg out to the side in whatever degree straight it is, it's still Ekapada Bakasana B. Right? It just is what it is. All right? Nice work, yogis. Let's go ahead and take a vinyasa and we'll meet up in down dog. From your downward facing dog, yogis, right foot forward and start to move that torso forward, pick the back leg up. We're going to come right into Ardha Chandrasana. Roll this hip up, roll the belly up. And start to level out the hips and shoulders. Then we're going to take a twist, revolved half moon. And start to reach back for that foot behind you and kick into that hand. So just think about lifting that thigh further up away from the floor. Kick into the hand and pull back with the hand. And start to tuck that leg in behind the standing leg. Slide the hand across the top of the foot. Come into that squat here. I always get requests for this. You needed to see the front view of it. And then start to push through that standing leg and lift right back up. Kick, lift that thigh super high, and then go ahead and step back. Point to the outer edge of the back foot, push and inhale, warrior one. Push down through both feet, draw energy up just like always. And lift up onto the back toes, yogis. Come into a lunge. And then start to sink the hips forward so that you come onto that back leg and let this knee go out past the ankle, all right? I forgot my little towel for my knee. And reach up overhead and start to reach back behind you, Anjaneyasana. Push into the floor through that back leg. Really push, so you're not just stretching into this, but actively pushing down as well. And inhale, bring that torso up, yogis. Plant the hands, keep that belly glued to the thigh, and lift that leg all the way up behind you. Urdhva Prasarita Ekapadasana. Use the belly to pull. And this hip can roll up just a little bit. It's totally fine. Keep pulling. Any balancing versions you want to do, you can hold on to the ankle or float the hands in. We're going to do Shuni Mudra, middle finger and thumb touching. And then inhale, bring the gaze up, plant the hands, and exhale. Take a vinyasa. Nice work, yogis. From your down dog, left foot forward, push, and inhale, Ardha Chandrasana. push through both feet evenly. Level out the hips and the shoulders. And then take that twist. Parivrtta Trikonasana. And same breath we had in child's pose. Nice calm breath. Go ahead and reach back for that foot and kick that thigh way up away from the floor. So just remember what this feels like. We're going to be doing this later in Vyagrasana. And then start to come into that squat, tuck that knee behind the standing leg, slide the hand across the top of the foot, and hold on to the outer edge. And actively push into the hand and pull back with the hand. So you create this new energy lock here. And push and inhale, lift right back up. Nice work, yogis. Go ahead and release that foot. Step back. Bring the gaze forward and inhale. Virabhadrasana 1. Lift up onto the back toes. Energize that back leg. And then start to sink the hips forward, not just down, but forward. So this knee comes out past the ankle. Reach up overhead maybe, reach back behind you. Anjaneyasana. Push into the floor through the back leg and lift the pelvic floor. Inhale, bring the torso up, yogis. Keep the belly glued to the thigh and lift that back leg up behind you. Urdhva Prasarita Ekapadasana. Any variation you want to work on here? Use the belly more. Inhale, lengthen. I'll take a vinyasa. Nice work, yogis. From your downward facing dog, inhale forward to a plank position, please. Open up to Vashisthasana on the right hand. So any leg variation you're working on is totally fine with me. Keep the feet together or bring that bottom knee down. You can bring that front foot down for more support, or take that top leg straight up. Lift the hips higher. And think about that space in the armpit area even here. that leg is lifted, go ahead and bring it down. Exhale, hang out in a plank or take a vinyasa, and then we'll do that on the other side. Inhale forward, come into Vashisthasana on the left hand. Exhale, take a vinyasa, yogis. Nice work. Inhale, forward to a plank position, Vashisthasana on the right hand again, please. Lift the hips. Same breath. Come back to that same breath we had in child's pose. Direct that flow of energy. And exhale, take a vinyasa. We'll do that on the other side. Inhale forward. Vashisthasana on the left hand. Let's use the whole body. Relax the jaw. Nice deep inhale. And exhale, take a vinyasa. Awesome. From your down dog yogis, inhale, jump through to Navasana. Straighten the legs, take the hands back behind you, push and lift to Purvottanasana. Exhale, bring the hips down. Inhale, Navasana. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, straighten the legs. Push and inhale, lift. Make sure you get the toes all the way onto the mat. You can bend the knees if that gives you a little bit more support. One more deep inhale here. And exhale, slide through right into Chaturanga Dandasana. Awesome. Let's go ahead and work on some inversions. So we'll start with our handstands today. If you do want to work on forearm balance instead, that's fine. Or headstand or shoulder stand if you like. All right, so kicking up at the wall, walking the feet up the wall, get upside down. You guys know what you're doing, okay? If you are kicking up at the wall, use the wall effectively. Keep that one leg reaching up and switch legs. Keep the legs super active. Okay. We'll stay upside down for a few minutes. Handstand, forearm balance, same thing. Don't even worry about bringing the feet together in any of these inversions because that isn't what really defines it. If you walk your feet up the wall and you have both feet on the wall, it's technically a handstand if all of the weight is on the front legs, right? What the legs are doing doesn't define it. As long as you keep them super active, push and lift where you can and push where you can and breathe the same way, it will all slowly come together over time. It requires dedication not just a couple of minutes here and there, but like its own practice. Really, if you want an inversion practice, it takes some real commitment to get there. And you can always email me. I know I say that all the time, and I'm so glad about the people that take me up on it, because I really feel like I can, you know, get in there and help you progress in whatever way that is. Because I don't want to just do stuff. I want you guys to really learn and master stuff. Don't just follow along with what I'm doing, you know. If you're working on headstand, always push down through the forearms. Lots of cool arm variations in headstand, so we can always work on a couple of those. One of my favorites is where you have the arms in front, so it's still a supported headstand. And really push, don't let the shoulders come up, push the shoulders up and away from the ears. Some people like that. We'll stay upside down for about 2 more minutes. So you'd better be upside down, yogis. For sure. One way to increase the length of time you can stay in it is to start counting your breaths. Later on you can use a timer, but in the beginning of increasing duration, you really want to start counting the breaths. When you count the breaths, there's a tendency to slow them down, which is good. So you want to get to, I don't know, maybe 6 breaths a minute, maybe 8, or maybe 10 a minute if you're in an inversion. Really start to slow that down and count the breaths. When you get to 20 breaths, then you can start using a timer. And increasing the duration in your inversion practice is what is going to strengthen you in your inversion practice. There's nothing you can do that makes you fit for any of these inversions other than these inversions. Sorry, that just is the way it is. Not a plank pose held that can get you into a handstand. All right, so 1 more minute here, you guys. And you can take a couple of breaths in child's pose if you like, or we'll just meet in down dog. If you like a couple of breaths just to reconnect with that breath. Okay, yogis, make sure you have your strap handy. We're going to work on this back bend called Vyagrasana. It's super cool to do this with a strap because then you really get that full effect. It's similar to Natarajasana. It's similar to a lot of things, including that half moon bind that we did earlier. So from your down dog, yogis, just come onto the knees here, come into a tabletop, and we'll start with this baby versions. You're going to take that right leg up behind you, reach back with the opposite hand, and then start to kick and bring the gaze forward. So just like that half moon bind that we did earlier. Kick, think about the relationship between the foot and the hand. Do that on the other side. Reach back for that left foot and kick. And keep the gaze forward. And then go ahead and release. So you can just sit on the heels for a moment or take a vinyasa, totally up to you. Let's go ahead and get the strap ready. How to use the strap effectively, you guys, just make a loop in the center. If you're using like a towel or something, that's even better because then you don't have to deal with all of this stuff down here. So we'll start again with that right leg up behind us first. Grab that loop in your left hand. This is why it's good to learn where your feet are when you're not looking in. So let as much strap go as you need to in order to rotate the shoulder. So you're reaching up overhead. And reach up toward the ceiling. And then let that strap slide through the hand so that you can release it. Do you love it? And then let's do that on the other side. All right, and loop that strap. Grab it with the right hand, take that loop back behind you for the foot, and then just let that shoulder, let as much strap go until you can rotate that shoulder, all right? And then kick and reach up. And then go ahead and let that strap slide through the hand. And sit on the heels. We'll do that one more time, okay, on each side. So this is called Vyagrasana. This is tiger pose, or tiger asana means position comfortably held. So tiger position comfortably held, even though it might be uncomfortable. So let's go ahead and do that again. Grab that strap with your left hand. And if you don't like it with the strap, do it without it. Just reach back behind you like we did that first time. Nice work. And then go ahead and switch sides, okay? Awesome. If you're using a strap, go ahead and get rid of it, and we'll meet up in down dog. You can take a vinyasa or just step back to down dog. And from your down dog, inhale, jump through. Exhale, lie on the back, bend the knees, plant the feet hip width apart, and we'll just do 3 rounds of either bridge pose or upward bow pose for you. So push and lift. Either one of those Whichever one you're in, push toward the back of the room through the heart center, really push through the feet so you always keep that same trajectory that we have through the sit bones in down dog, all right? Use the arms more if you're in bridge pose. Really lift. And exhale, come on down, scoop that belly. Come down one vertebra at a time. And then push and inhale, bridge pose or upward bow pose. Nice work, yogis. Come on down. And one last round. Push and inhale. Bridge pose or upward bow pose. Reach through the heart center, push through the feet. And exhale, come on down one vertebra at a time, yogis. Bring the knees to the chest. You can roll on up and take a vinyasa. And from your down dog, inhale, jump through. Exhale, lie on the back, bring that right leg up. Reach for the outer edge of the foot or the toe and lift the head and shoulders up. Reach for the shin through the chin. Really lift. Reach for that other knee. That's what's going to level out these shoulders. Use the belly more. And inhale, bring the head and shoulders back down to the mat. Exhale, take that leg out to the side. So use this other hand to hold that hip down. So you want to keep both buns on the mat, even if that means this foot is up a little bit. Keep both legs active. Space in the armpit area. And push into this hand and resist back with the hand. And inhale, lift that leg back up. Go ahead and reach around for the outer edge of the foot and we'll take the twist. So drop that leg across the body, keep both legs active, don't just randomly fall into it. Push into that hand and pull back with the hand. Same breath. Keep that leg straight, yogis. Inhale, bring it back up to center. Go ahead and reach for the toe now with the right hand and bring that leg to half lotus. I'll give you a couple of choices here. You can bring the shin up toward the chest here, which is nice. It's kind of like pigeon, but you're lying on your back. Or grab the toe and then shove your head in between the forearm and the shin. And inhale, straighten that leg. exhale, release. We'll do that on the other side. Inhale, lift left leg, reach for the toe or the outer edge of the foot, and then lift the head and shoulders. Reach toward that kneecap. Lift a little bit higher. And inhale, bring the head and shoulders back down, yogis. And exhale, take that leg out to the side. Keep this bun on the floor. Keep both legs active. Inhale, bring that leg back up to center. Reach around for the outer edge of the foot. Keep both legs active. And come into that twist. Keep everything active still, just like always. Mula Bandha, space in the armpit area. And inhale, bring that leg back up to center, yogis. Give that knee a little bow. Reach for the toe. And then you may either bring that leg to half lotus, if you like this, or grab that toe and get the head in between the forearm and the shin. Use that belly. And inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, release. Go ahead and bring the knees to the chest, roll on up. And take one final vinyasa. Where am I? Inhale, jump through. And exhale, lie on the back. Take a deep inhale. Relax the jaw. Let the tongue drop from the roof of the mouth. And slowly begin to bring the awareness back into the body. And without changing anything, just begin to notice where the weight of the body meets the floor. Notice how the body moves as you breathe. And take a deep inhale. Relax even more deeply. And begin to move fingers and toes. Circle the ankles and wrists. And roll the arms and legs in and out. And turn the head to one side and then the other. And take a big stretch up overhead, yogis, and stretch in whatever way feels natural for you. Hug the knees to the chest and roll all the way over onto the left side. And then all the way over onto your right side. And come on up to a seated position. Keep the eyes closed. Bring your hands together at your heart center in Anjali Mudra, where we connect our everyday self with our infinite self. And we'll chant one Om. Take a deep inhale. We are all one, yogis. Namaste. Thank you for the privilege. Vaheguru. Fearlessness and mercy at all times, yogis. That is the message of Shiva. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys later.